This is teaching standard 3, good subject knowledge and curriculum knowledge. So to start off with, I've got a lesson plan of a volleyball session that I did with year 9s. From the start I made sure that I was looking for correct technique and correct teaching points, so I could scrutinise every little detail and compare students together to see who had good technique and how the other students could improve. The first activity I did didn't involve a game situation, so the students were volleying and digging to themselves. However, they were digging from above their heads, so the ball was coming down from above their heads. In a normal game situation, this wouldn't happen, as the ball would be travelling towards the floor, and if the ball was above their head, they would volley the ball instead. I then progressed this so that they were only digging below their head in partners. One partner would volley to themselves and then hit the ball down so they could dig, which would reenact more of a spike or a tip over the net rather than a high ball, which they wouldn't dig. Moving on to the plenary. During the plenary, I felt like I answered questions confidently and were able to answer them in more depth and ask questions to the students, which made them think more critically about the skills at hand rather than the what questions. They had a deeper understanding of what was expected of them. Feedback from the lesson showed that I had good demonstrations, which meant that I was able to promote good demonstrations, which meant that I could show good technique and students could get an idea of the perfect model as such. Good knowledge of technique, which meant that I knew the key points and were able to critique each student's technique and refine it so they had the best technique possible. And the feedback that I gave was positive towards the student's technique. Moving on to extracurricular. At lunchtimes, as you can see circled in red here, I help out with volleyball club just to refresh my knowledge in volleyball and to help the kids progress even further. This also helps me as I can recap what I already know and take it into a game situation with a more experienced teacher in volleyball. Also, there's a range of handouts, such as the digging handout and the volleyball handout. This relates back to VARC, so it's more visual learners and being able to read, with demonstrations, being able to mechanically demonstrate with students allows them to have correct technique. The impact that this will have on the students, or that has had on students' progress, is that it has allowed them to ask more in-depth questions to me and then give them confidence that I'll be able to answer them. The technique will be better for them and for myself in demonstrations, and I'll be able to critique their technique better, which means that their technique will be refined and their skill will be more fluid and have more control. The understanding of the game, which also means that they can ask questions about the game that they might not know, and I'll be able to answer them with confidence. This is backed up by Turner 2013, who says that mastering the subject promotes high quality learning. Also be able to answer questions and give sound advice and opinions about each subject and be able to go into more depth about each skill in the subject.